The Frame Center Podcast.
Okay, welcome to the Frame Center Podcast. And we've been away for a little bit. We had a little break for December with the Christmas rush here at the Frame Center. We did pop in quickly, did a quick recap of the year, but excited to welcome the first guest of 2023, very own Andrew Flight. He is a former employee at the Frame Center, and he has got a show that is coming up on Thursday. What's the date?
Thursday the 19th.
Thursday the 19th. His show kicks off here at the Frame Center Gallery on the second floor. Excited to talk to Andy about his show. I know Elizabeth has a lot of questions for him. Don't you, Elizabeth?
Oh yeah, they're lined up.
They're lined up? All right. We're going to ask a few of them on camera. You can ask some others, once we stop recording, the other ones. So here we go. So Andy, you worked here. How long has it been? You look
20 years ago I was hired, actually.
20 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah. You look a
And
little
then
nervous.
I worked here. I'm not too nervous.
Yeah.
I'm used to the camera.
All right.
I worked here for 7 years, I think. Maybe
7 years?
8 years.
Yeah. And you were painting then? You went to UMass Dartmouth? You were,
Yep. I
painting?
graduated UMass Dartmouth in 2000 with a painting degree. And I did a summer in France at Pont-Aven School of Art.
Nice. Yeah. And you've been painting pretty steadily ever since? Or?
I took some pretty big gaps, but I try to at least do something, even if it's not something that's going to be shown.
Yeah.
I at least do some stuff at home. I have a pretty good studio set up at home, so.
Yeah. You stayed pretty active?
Yeah. I'm either, if I'm not painting, I'm drawing. I've only had
The profile?
5 or 6 big shows. Yeah, the profile was a big one.
That's one that you've always
Yeah.
said, you mastered.
That's right. But this has been a while, so this is my first one in a few years.
Nice. Well, I'm excited about it. I think all the work looks great. I think Dina did a great job getting everything hung up on the,
Yeah, I'm very happy with how it came out.
yeah, kind of like a little bit of variety of works. I know that you had we're looking over at the sneakers and the Coke bottle.
Yep. Yeah, I usually paint still lives, paint from life.
Yeah.
Landscapes here and there.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I do some stuff that's not in the realism field, like the blue figures over there.
The
Just
figures.
to take a break from the other stuff.
Yeah. What are the figures? I mean, are you using like one of those like marionette things to like?
No, it's mostly from memory. I mean, I took a ton of drawing classes, so
Yeah.
And then I just kind of start with the paint down there and then see where it goes.
Yeah, and then you have the couple of kind of like abstract landscapes that we were talking about the other day. Kind of in the
the
almost
tree.
feels like they're in the style of former customer Cipriani.
He's definitely an inspiration on them. Yeah,
Yeah.
those I really are more for the color. I think you know
Mhm.
you get the I think it's Dina wrote it on the artist description about the vibrant colors.
Yeah.
So I tend not to shy away from those. So if you can't see them in real life, then I kind of create something to put them on there.
Mm-hmm. Elizabeth's been looking through the show. She's been enjoying the works. We actually took a picture earlier today of the one I have at the house from your last show.
Yep. Is it the boots?
Yeah. The whiskey. What was that? Was that Booze and Shoes?
Something like that. Yeah, that was from, I want to say that was 13 years ago. Because that was in the original calendar that I had from the show in Pembroke.
Yeah.
So that one was a while ago.
Yeah, that one, I've had that one hanging. I had that hanging in my old house. I have it hanging at a prominent spot in my current home.
Yep,
And,
same frame as the show here for most of the paintings too.
yeah, discontinued.
Yeah, we can find a similar one, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find something. But yeah, I picked up the lighthouse. Which one was that? What was that called?
That's Camden Light. I
Camden
went to Camden last February for 5 days with my wife.
Yeah.
And we stayed right next to the light. And I got some really good snapshots, did some sketches, so.
Yeah.
I think it's up in Maine. I think it's a really popular spot, kind of like Powder Point down here. So
Okay.
people might recognize it. They go to Maine.
Yeah, I don't really get to Maine, but you know what it had. Like I was talking to Mike earlier about it. Before we did the install, we were kind of killing a couple minutes up here. It has like a hopper type of feel to it.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
You do.
Yeah. I think it's just the just like simplicity.
Yeah.
You know? I would never try to say like, obviously his stuff's a million times better than mine, but as far as like the composition, it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
You know, he's pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously he used oils, so you can get, I think, even better color with oils.
Mm-hmm.
I use acrylic, which nowadays I think most people do.
Yeah.
It's just easier. I was never trained in oils. They didn't offer classes at my college just because of the fire hazard. I would like to have done it. Maybe someday I'll pick it up, but because you can get some nice. I think nicer, brighter colors probably from oil. But I think the acrylic's pretty close.
Yeah. Now, is it hot? You get like, is he an inspiration for?
Yeah,
for
he's
you? Like,
he's definitely one of my favorites. Charles Sheeler, Edward Hopper.
Yeah.
You know, the light, I think, is the big thing. If that's the first thing I try to find if I'm going to paint something, is it has to have a big contrast between light and dark. Otherwise, it's just going to look flat, I think. So I think on any painting that I'm doing that's a landscape or a still life, there'll be a drastic change from the shadows to the light.
Yeah.
With the other stuff like the figures, you'll notice that it's more flat because it doesn't have that. So that's how I was trained, especially when I went to France.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of I'm looking at the issues, the shadows. This seems like there's like a distinct line.
Yeah, and I take some liberties. I add, kind of darken it up where it might not be as dark, and definitely lighten it up where it might not be as light.
Yeah.
So even though it's from an image or something I'm looking at, I definitely add a lot to it.
Yeah, you had a pretty good run here. Like, how long?
At the Frame Center?
Yeah,
I was here a long time, 7-8 years. I was bartending in Boston right after school.
Yeah.
And I figured I wasn't gonna do that forever. We had a good mutual friend. Give a shout out to Mr. Nathan Mucci.
Yeah.
And he
the inspiration of the profile.
Absolutely. And he told me your friend for life told me to come here and apply. I passed the test.
Yeah.
That the old man gave me.
Yeah.
And and I started working there. I loved it. And it was probably one of the best times I've had actually in here working.
Yeah.
Laid back, but everything got done.
Yeah.
It was definitely a fun time.
Yeah, we're trying to keep that atmosphere going.
Keeping it loose with the podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're changing with the times. We have a dedicated social media team. We
She's very talkative.
Yeah. Oh yeah. we have a dedicated team. We're trying to keep up with all the social media, but we're still trying to have trying to keep it a light environment and fun and professional.
Yep.
I mean, there was probably moments back when you were here before where things were a little less than professional.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
you know,
Yeah.
we've done some growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. You were pretty young when you took over. took over the shop, so. But I definitely learned a lot, though.
Yeah.
I learned a ton about how framing can make or break a piece.
Yeah. Do you feel like the times behind the bar is that an inspiration for the
Yeah, especially on my earlier shows, 100%. I used to do a ton of just glassware and booze inspired paintings just because it was just around, and I think people love to hang that stuff on their walls too. So
yeah.
I'm getting a little more towards landscapes and maybe some I don't know, more everyday things.
Mm-hmm.
With the shoes or with the Italian dinner.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but I'll always have glassware and wine and stuff like that in my paintings.
Yeah.
So.
Even though you put down the bottle.
Even though I put down the bottle.
Well, yeah. I mean, I still can. You can still see the the interest in the glassware. I mean, I haven't had a drink in a while, and I'm still I still have
nice.
paintings and it has a good aesthetic to it.
Yeah, and glassware it's tough. It's a tough thing to paint. So very early on in college, I had a professor that steered me towards it. Fabric and glassware were the two things that she told me. If you can get those down, then you can always have a good painting. So I always tried to have some of those in there.
What do you think? Elizabeth told me she was admiring some of the paintings earlier today. She's still on the fence. She's getting ready to make her first purchase.
Oh, nice.
I've never bought a piece of real art before.
You should buy the bridge.
The bridge?
Bridge.
No. I like I don't know what it's called, the sunset one over there, between the egg and...
Yeah, the powder point dusk. Yeah, I have quite a few powder point inspired things around.
But Dave will tell you one of my favorite ones at his house was your boots. Before I knew who you were or anything like that, I remember we were recording a thing about art on people's walls and the story behind it, and he told me a little bit about you and I think he helped you with a show or something.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gave him that, and
Yep.
I really liked the piece.
Yes, and then his brother John actually took the sister piece for it.
Yeah, was that a martini glass?
Yeah.
What was with that? What was the
martini glass and olives and a little white napkin.
Yeah, but there's a shoe in it too. Is there like a
Oh,
high
that was a
heel?
different one. That was my Uncle John actually bought that one. That was it was a red high heel with a champagne flute.
Okay.
Yeah, I had those.
I feel like the one that John has has like a shoe in it too, though.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think it's a napkin. It's like a folded napkin.
Yeah.
Olive glass and a shaker.
We'll have to call him in on the
Yeah, we'll have to
podcast.
call
When
him
he visits the podcast, we'll have to clear that up
Yeah.
with him. Cool. Well, I've always had admired your work, and I'm excited to take a walk through, take a look at some of the pieces, maybe get a closer look. We can go through a few things. We're gonna change the recording equipment, and we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
The rest of the interview will be a discussion of Andrew Flight's pieces, currently on display at the Frame Center Gallery. If you'd like to see these pieces, please stop in at the Frame Center in Hanover before February 24th. A video will be on our YouTube and Instagram pages in the near future if you can't make it in. And now back to our show.
That reminds me of the piece that I have, but like maybe you've made the switch to like a non-alcoholic drink.
Yeah. Well, it's got the same. It definitely has the same color, the same tones, the browns and blues.
You get the baseball kind of tucked in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah. You see the description? You've checked out the description yet? Yeah. Dropped
I did. Actually,
I dropped a Castiglione in there.
That's right.
An old customer of yours, from your time.
That was actually the first one I did when I just started.
Oh, what, of all the paintings?
Yeah, I just kind of started tinkering around and did that one first.
Yeah. Did you really set that up, or are you doing that for
Kind of,
memory?
not really. I actually didn't have a baseball. I just had a sphere, so and I added the stitches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the guys over here were, whenever I was doing something that I got frustrated with on a painting from life, then I would just kind of mess around, and then they kind of just took off on their own.
Yeah, they have that what are you doing that with tape?
Yeah, I tape it off. Well, these two, the one in the middle, and then I used I just used the palette knife on this one to get that effect. So and then sponges a lot on this, so to get the edges, I removed the paint rather than adding it, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the line, I don't know if it's the placement of the lines that kind of has that like a similar feel to the ones that Bobby C. Inspired abstracts.
Yep.
And I kind of felt like that had like that. What is the thing called? The wooden guy that was.
I don't even know. Just a figure drawing.
Like it's like a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they have that feel to to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think once you take figure drawing, it just kind of stays in your head.
Yeah.
What the form looks like.
Yeah, I mean the same thing. You like it's got those same lines. So tell me about this guy right here. We got,
so
what do we got? What do we got going on here?
I think on that show I did at the Pembroke Library a few years ago, I started tinkering with painting a piece onto another piece. To give it a little bit of just a different feel.
Just layers.
Yeah, and just give it a little depth. And this one I just started with the colors, and then I thought it looked kind of like an autumn feel, so I just added the kind of a leaf changing color, and then the pear. Just give it like a seasonal kind of feel.
Yeah, and then you were saying that the piece right here was Dina, the one that Dina kind of talked
Dina really liked it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put it in. I didn't think it was my strongest piece, but it's one of those pieces where I kept glazing and glazing and glazing, so it's really built up. It has some spots,
you can see the texture in it.
Some spots probably over 1/8 of an inch of paint on there. And,
do you find
matte medium?
Do you feel like having somebody else give a opinion on the pieces helps you? Like,
absolutely.
Where you don't. I mean, like now that you're seeing it in the group, you feel more confident in it than you did.
Yeah, I think so. I think that always happens though. There's always a bunch that I'm not really happy with, and someone else likes them, so
it kind of changes your opinion of it.
I think so.
Yeah.
This one's actually my favorite of my own.
Really?
Yeah, the one in the middle here.
Did you set that up too, or is that?
Yeah, kind of. I was just painting one day down in my basement in my studio, and I looked over and I had a couple of my rags. They were sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
So it was the back of the chair and something like that. And I had one of my painting jars and a couple dirty brushes in it, and it just kind of looked like a good little still life.
Yep.
So I just started painting it.
We going on, and then we have Elizabeth's favorite right here.
Yeah, that's another powder point one. That's I spent a lot of time at Duxbury Beach. So,
Yeah.
and I've painted that lighthouse. I don't even know, probably 6, 7, 8 times. So
$250. It's a steal.
it's a steal.
You know, she's gonna have to act quick. She's got the inside track, so like, you know, she can jump on before the before the crowd shows up on Thursday night, because something tells me that one will go.
Yeah, I
before.
hope so.
Yeah, same with Dina's. I mean, you have everything priced to sell for sure, Andy.
Yeah, especially on the smaller ones, I think.
Yep, like the egg.
And I think this is a nice strong wall, I think, right here.
Yeah, and you guys decided to go with the gold frames just to give it some pop when you get up the stairs.
Yeah, so anything with those kind of blues and greens, you know, that summery feel.
Yeah,
I think that the yellow in there really pops when you get the gold on there.
well, it's a nice, like with the black back on the gold frames. Like it has a nice tie, and it ties into the rest of the pieces in the show, especially like even being able to like use the black floater against that.
Yep.
It doesn't look out of place.
Right. Yeah. So and then together they look nice too.
I feel like I've seen you paint bridges before too. Like this.
I painted the Powder Point Bridge a few times.
Is it the same spot, or are you using different areas?
So it's actually it depends on the tide, really. So this one was coming in; it was almost high, whereas the last show I did it at low tide.
Yep.
So that's really the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get it on a pretty bright day because I like those bright colors. But someday maybe I'll paint it at sunset or something like that.
Yep. And you like the way, like, just like all the different lines and beams and the bridges.
Yeah, I like that kind of engineering feel to it, or the Yeah, I think that was probably inspired by my dad a little bit, because he always did that engineer drawing and civil engineering stuff like that.
So you think like seeing them as a
it could be.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting too. I didn't like, because then you have like the same thing like with the figures. You get those strong lines.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's a nice aspect of paintings that you can have, especially like on a figure where it's some parts are just so cut and clean, and then you can kind of just tinker around with the other areas. And And then Herring Run, Pembroke. I've actually painted that a few times too. That's just a little color study that I did there.
Yep.
I kind of took a lot of liberty with the tones on it. More of a composition. I just wanted that red to kind of pop on there.
Yeah, that is a nice feel. I'm not a big Herring Run guy,
No. And this is I love to cook, so that's kind of my homage to cooking there.
Yeah.
And,
cooking, bartending.
Yeah.
You were behind the line once, right?
Yeah, I used to help out in the kitchen. I used to love it.
Yeah.
Love to cook. Cooking, and I would put cooking actually above painting for my favorite stuff to do.
In these ones, I mean, obviously, I'm guessing since you're no longer drinking, that these are not like really set up, or are these like you're not painting?
Kinda. So we have wine glasses around the house. I mean, these. I didn't. This is kind of like a conglomeration of stuff from my head. And really, it was the composition and the color is I think what's going to make it work. So, but I like the reflective surfaces on the glassware and the bottle. So that always looks nice.
Yeah, I imagine the shadows must be tough to do, but like the shadows are strong in there, and then like
It was at that moment the camera died. We now return you to your normally scheduled program already in progress.
So I live in Weymouth. I live right next to Palm Meadow Park.
Yeah.
So I walk down there all the time, run down there. So I'm just so used to the area. So I kind of took some snapshots on my phone and then came up with that painting.
In the winter too, huh?
In the winter,
yeah.
And then this is actually from the Herring Run as well. It's the field behind it though, in Pembroke.
That one feels a little different than the others.
So this is painted on a panel.
Yeah.
It's the only one in the show. I used to paint a lot on wood, but it really does a number on brushes.
Yeah.
So I just went back to canvas all the time.
Yep. So
and it's kind of it was a quick painting, so the paint I think is a little thinner on it.
Yep. Yeah, it just feels like, I don't know, it feels flatter than
Yeah, I think that was more of going after color in that one. I like that yellow. And these guys are definitely a little different than the others.
Yep.
More of a composition and color. I really didn't know what I was going to put in the middle. I just decided on the bird because I liked the shape of it.
I mean, it's funny. Yeah, I remember there was a bunch of references to
yeah.
you as being a
That's
bird.
true.
Like it kind of almost was that bird that dips into the.
Thing that goes like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
Is it like a what?
I don't think it was a dodo.
But yeah,
This is also for I'm dedicating these to Andy Mack because he's an actual bird watcher.
bird watcher.
Yep. So
Yeah,
figured he
interesting.
would like those.
What is that? Why does this one have two? Oh, is that for the set?
Yep.
Giving you're offering a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
if
they were
someone buys
intended
the
to,
set?
they're intended to hang together.
Yep.
I mean, they'd probably be fine on their own, but I think they look, just the way that it
Yeah,
see the
yep.
edge and kind of frames the whole thing together. So
Yeah, well, I think that they could still
and it built up a lot of texture on them.
Yeah, I think you either got to go all three or just one because like especially the one in the middle looks like it would be a little bit out of place.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like a flag too.
Yeah, bird flag.
And then this
The
is
leaf? Yeah, that's the one that
Bob
as soon
Cipriani?
as I saw that one, I
Yeah.
just like that's all that it jumped right into
well, he
my
painted
mind.
the beach a lot, and then he did the
Yeah.
lines. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
definitely
I mean,
similar style.
like he had that. Like I remember some of the paintings just like with those strong lines and like the transfers of colors. Like I'm trying to remember what he called some of those pieces.
I don't remember, but his stuff was really, really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump online at some point and try to look some of them up and try to see if we can put one next to that.
Yeah.
But
His colors were definitely more muted.
yeah.
Like all those abstract ones had some really bright colors, but his beach were definitely a little more muted.
Did you now when you were painting that? Would that pop into your head at all? Or
It
no?
did afterwards.
Or afterwards.
Yeah, it didn't really as I was doing it, but
Yeah.
at some point I definitely noticed it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Cause I mean, when you brought him in, that was like
Yeah.
the first thing I said to you. I'm like, I just see like a Bobby Cipriani painting in there, and interesting. Do you feel like you found any other inspiration, like like we were talking about, like Hopper,
As
and
far
like
as painting,
and like as far you
for
had
local,
customers here.
people that came in, I don't know. If I would say inspiration, I definitely would look at things and notice something that reminded me of my style.
Yeah.
Maybe I guess you could call it inspiration if it made me want to go home and paint. So
Yeah.
that would happen from time to time.
The leaf's nice.
Yeah, it's a simple study there.
Same thing.
Yeah. And then this one's definitely a little different than what I usually do.
Yep. That seems like it's like along the same lines as the pear.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was originally going to do a similar to the birds, a triptych but the colors were just so different with the pear and the tree that I decided just to do separately.
Yep. Yeah, I love the texture in this too.
Yeah,
That same thing, just palette knife.
Yeah, just build it up with palette knife and some matte medium.
It almost feels like it has like the layers almost gives it like a leaf-like quality too in like some of those things, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
With the tree.
Yeah, and you can find some shapes in there that are supposed to have a little bit of an autumn, feel
Yep.
to it, leaves and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I definitely can, especially like this one section. Feel like I get that feel over there too. That's cool.
And then obviously these are the most Hopper-like, especially that
Yeah,
one, I think.
yeah. Those. I mean, I was sitting. I think that might be what
What tree is that one?
Yeah, I mean, it has that same quality to it.
Yeah.
And you're priced a lot more affordable than getting a hopper on the wall.
I don't think so. And then this one actually is my wife's favorite and my sister Emily's favorite.
Yeah, and I was between. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah.
But I think that I just came back to the lighthouse, and like I was telling Elizabeth, you get a first crack at these things. You got to take advantage of the being first in line and getting the chance to see everything. And I think I got a steal on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Add it to the collection. I'm becoming a true patron of Andrew Flight's work.
Yeah. So hopefully it does well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm really happy with how the show came out. I'm excited about it. And I think you're going to have a great turnout. Can't wait to get some feedback from some other people,
Absolutely.
I think I know which ones are going to go quick, and hopefully if Elizabeth's serious about buying, she pulls the trigger early. Awesome. Well, things are gonna we're gonna have everything up. We're not gonna have all the images up on the website because you're gonna be offering some prints, but
Right.
we have you got everything scanned, so you have a record, and we should have the ability to offer those if you want to.
Yep.
We got a couple of the images already on the website. I'm actually, think that it's going to be. I think you're going to have a great turnout. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a lot of sales.
I hope so. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming by, Andy, and thanks for following us around, Elizabeth.
Right.
You did great in front of the camera. I know you were a little nervous.
Nah.
Brings you back to your days like on those plays.
Child actor.
Yeah, the child actor. What was that role?
Tom Sawyer.
Yeah,
Robin Hood. Hey,
no, the one was what was the theater group you were a part of?
Priscilla Beach Theater.
Yeah, Frame Center Trivia. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. If you want to see Andy's show, come by, take a look. We'll have some prints up on the website, and that's it for today. See ya.